I'm Laura Podesta in Miami, where 10 candidates made their pitches to voters last night. We will break down all the big moments of the debate, plus what you can expect from tonight's event.
And this week marks 50 years since the Stonewall riots in New York City. The country has made strides when it comes to equal rights, but activists point out there is much more to be done. Brightside at 4:30 starts now. Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us here on Brightside. I'm Katie McCall in for Rob Finnerty. We're going to get you in the know in just a minute, but first, let's check with Grant for a look at our local weather. Heard a lot of noise last night, Grant.
How rude, right?
Woo, waking us up.
Noisy neighbors last night. Mother Nature definitely being that neighbor last night. Heavy storms rolled through. This is what's left over from those storms. Just some lingering cloud cover. We might get a couple of sprinkles there near Oldsmar and parts of western Hillsborough County, but that was the storm that woke most of us up last night. If it wasn't the heavy rainfall, certainly the thunder and lightning, even a little bit of hail reported in northern Pinellas County, just north of Oldsmar. Nickel-sized hail reported. Nothing severe, but gusty winds in excess of 40 miles per hour in many spots. We're much calmer out there. This morning temperatures at 75 degrees in Tampa. St. Pete's at 79. Partly cloudy skies. We'll continue to see those clouds dissipate, but scattered showers and storms try to redevelop once again this afternoon. Not as hot today, but still a warm one. High temperatures in the low to mid 90s. Chance of rain, though, that increases even more as we go into the weekend. Full forecast for you guys in just a few.
Grant, thank you. We want to make the most of the time that you have with us this morning, even if it's just for a few minutes. So let's get you in the know, and let's do it right now. The first of two Democratic presidential debates took place in Miami last night. 10 candidates made their case for the White House before a national audience tackling immigration, the economy, and President Trump. Laura Podesta joins us now from Miami.
I'm talking about a comprehensive rewrite of our immigration laws.
I think that you should do your homework.
We're going to make sure that
For 2 hours.
Healthcare is a basic human right, and I will fight for basic human rights.
10 Democratic presidential candidates went toe-to-toe during an NBC News debate on issues like health care.
I am just simply concerned about kicking half of America off of their health insurance in 4 years.
Afghanistan.
You have to stay engaged in these situations.
As a soldier, I will tell you that answer is unacceptable. We have to bring our troops home.
They also talked about immigration, making their case both in English.
I would sign an executive order that would get rid of Trump's zero tolerance policy
And in Spanish, hoping to court Latino voters.
La situación ahora es inaceptable. When people come to this country, they do not leave their human rights at the border.
The debate last night took place here in Florida, a key battleground state, and where President Trump kicked off his re-election campaign a week and a half ago. While the president tweeted the debate was boring,
The biggest threat to the security of the United States is Donald Trump.
Democrats on stage took him to task.
I don't think we should conduct foreign policy in our bathrobe at 5 in the morning.
Some publicly stated their views on whether impeachment proceedings should begin.
we must begin impeachment now.
This is not the number one issue the American people ask us about.
The candidates were largely focused on each other and their party.
This Democratic Party has to be strong and bold and progressive.
10 more Democratic contenders will take the stage in Miami tonight. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Miami.
And tonight's debate features more from the perennial frontrunners, including Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, who is leading in the early polls. So far, we've heard from the candidates, but what about you? 10 News reporter Phil Buck was at a watch party to hear from Tampa Bay voters.
Because a lot of things that the Democratic candidates are saying are just Democratic ideals. So a lot of them aren't getting as specific as I would like.
A lot of talk about like abortion, a lot of talk about, better health care, which is something I definitely agree with. I like the talk about making it a little bit easier to go to college, be able to pay for college.
And it wasn't just the issues that caught the crowd's attention. People definitely took notice when some of the candidates started speaking in Spanish.
La representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar.
La situación ahora es inaceptable. De presidente ha atacado.
How did that come across to you? Did it seem authentic or did it seem like a performance?
I did wonder how long they had practiced those specific lines. I mean, I hear that they do speak Spanish fluently, but they came in prepared.
And for everything you might have missed during last night's debate, just log on to our website, WTSP.com/EyeOnPolitics. Today is the last day of the Supreme Court's term before a long summer break, but before the justices leave, they're expected to decide on two big issues. One is the citizenship question on the 2020 census and placing limits on drawing electoral districts for partisan gain. These two issues could determine the distribution of political power for the next 10 years. Right now, President Trump is on his way to Japan for the annual G20 summit, but it's his conversations on the sidelines that will probably make the most headlines. Things like tensions with Iran, the trade war with China, and U.S. relations with Russia. The president was asked what he'll say to Vladimir Putin. He told reporters, quote, "None of your business." In a few hours, the funeral for the Sacramento police officer who was killed last week will be held. The service for Tara O'Sullivan in the Bayside Church Adventure Campus is expected to reach full capacity. The rookie cop was shot during a domestic call but later died at the hospital. More than 500 police vehicles are expected to join a procession in her honor through that city. And back here at home, the community came together to talk about the LGBTQ history, including progress and years of discrimination, in a panel discussion held at the Metro Health Community Center in St. Pete. Several panel members told 10 News about their personal experiences with violence aimed at LGBTQ people. Brandon Wolf is a survivor of the 2016 Pulse shooting in Orlando.
And then the gunshots started again, and this time they were relentless and they didn't end, and we made a decision in that bathroom that we would make a run for a fire exit. We were really lucky to be able to do that, and unfortunately my best friends were not that lucky. We went in a group of 4 and came out in a group of 2.
Panelists said they hope to prevent future violence by speaking out. This was the first meeting of its kind in our area. This week, Governor Ron DeSantis legalized alternative treatments for Florida veterans who are suffering from PTSD. The governor signed the bill into law here in Tampa. It allows veterans to be treated with music therapy, equine therapy, service animal training therapy, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Today is National PTSD Awareness Day. Here in Tampa Bay, we have a large military community, so most of us know what post-traumatic stress disorder is. But do you know its history? We're going beyond the headline to learn more.
When you think of PTSD, you probably think of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, but the truth is it's a lot older than that. The experts say it's always been a part of the human condition. Someone attacked by a saber-toothed tiger thousands of years ago would likely have suffered some of the same symptoms, but it took us a long time to figure out why. Fast forward from the Ice Age to the mid-1700s and meet Austrian physician Joseph Leopold. He referred to PTSD as nostalgia when he found that soldiers who experienced war often felt sad, couldn't sleep, and had bad anxiety. A century later, entered the American Civil War. The brutality of brother fighting brother was just too much for some soldiers to take. They had a rapid pulse and trouble breathing. Doctors called it soldier's heart and compared the effects of combat to what happens to people after train crashes. By the end of World War I, PTSD was known as shell shock because it was believed that constant artillery explosions were to blame. World War II came with a new diagnosis, combat stress reaction, also known as battle fatigue. In 1952, the American Psychiatric Association made it official by including gross stress reaction on its list of recognized disorders. And in 1980, it was changed to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Doctors have come a long way when it comes to diagnosing PTSD, but they still have a lot of work to do when it comes to treating it. Still, if you know someone who's suffering, there is help. We have information on our website, WTSP.com. We're nearly a month into hurricane season, and some in the area are not taking any chances when it comes to storm surge and flooding. Good morning and welcome back to Brightside. I'm Katie McCall in for Rob Finnerty. Let's talk about what's happening today in Tampa Bay. In honor of National HIV Testing Day, the Pinellas County Health Department is providing free testing both today and tomorrow. The health centers in St. Pete, Pinellas Park, Largo, Clearwater, and Tarpon Springs will provide the testing today. Then tomorrow, testing continues. The Out of the Closet thrift store in St. Pete will have testing there. Today is the Hillsborough Senior Prom put on by the county's Aging Services Department. This year, new life is being added with the help of some 5 to 8-year-olds. The prom will give both the young and the old a chance to boogie on the dance floor. It starts at 10 and it will be held at the Regent in Riverview. Meanwhile, in Clearwater, the Coast Guard Air Station will have a change of command ceremony today. These are always neat. Captain Joseph McGilly will relieve Captain Edward Sandlin as the commanding officer. Captain Sandlin is retiring after 27 years of service. This change of command begins at 10. And if you're going to be in downtown Tampa, you should know the Department of Defense Warrior Games are still going on. Today's competitions are the shooting prelim, wheelchair rugby prelim, and the sitting volleyball prelim. All of these events, by the way, will be at the Tampa Convention Center, and they are free to watch. And Grant's got a look at our weather for today. It's a good day to go inside and watch someone else do some sports, right?
Yeah, it's always a good day to do something like that, right? We are finding some dissipating cloud cover after those loud and kind of windy storms as well last night. A couple of sprinkles might still fall from those lingering clouds, but this was the storm that just barreled its way through. A little bit of a late night for it, wasn't it? Hail, damaging winds, or at least close to it. Wind speeds were around 40 to 45 miles per hour. Hail just north of Oldsmar, there in northern Pinellas County, reported at 0.9 inches, so about the size of a nickel, coming down for around 3 minutes there at the Ridgemont Boulevard and East Lake Road intersection. So it was an electric storm last night, and a lot of it actually fueled from the heat of the day. We had a high of 97 degrees yesterday. Today, it's not going to be as warm, but close to the record high temperature. Today's record is 95. I think we're up around 94 degrees. So there is a chance that we tie the record high temperature for today. But you'll notice, if you've been outside already this morning, it's not as humid. It's not as warm either as it was yesterday morning. Dew points now at 66 degrees. So our relative humidity at 73%. Temperature down 7 degrees from this time yesterday as well. It's 75 degrees, but it's that dew point that's lower this morning. 7 degrees lower dew point right now than it was this time yesterday morning. So it is a little more comfortable as we start off our Thursday morning. Temperatures around the Bay Area, mid and upper 70s, except for St. Pete reporting temperatures at 83 degrees. The rest of us, though, have sufficiently cooled into the 70s this morning. But there we go again, back up to 94. 20% chance for an afternoon shower storm. So it's a relatively small chance of rain throughout the majority of the day. As we bless you. You're welcome. You guys could hear that at home, right? The sneezing. Chance of a few showers and storms going into the evening and overnight as well. That East Coast sea breeze is going to draw in a few of those showers and storms as we make our way into the overnight hours. Futurecast shows you maybe a coastal shower with the West Coast sea breeze trying to develop, but it will be those storms that drive in off of the East Coast that produce a few more of those showers and storms for us. It's only a 20 to 30% chance of rain today, so it's really not a great chance of rain, even though a few of the storms that do develop could produce some locally heavy rainfall. Tomorrow we'll find a few more of those scattered showers and storms rolling in from the east, meeting up with that West Coast sea breeze, and then we'll increase the chance of rain even more as we go into Saturday. Your weekend, though, is not a washout. We'll talk about that in a second. But today, partly cloudy skies, for the most part, a decent day. It won't be as hot or as humid as it was yesterday, but it's still going to be warmer than normal. 94 is a hot day. Our normal high temperature is 90. 93 tomorrow, 40% chance for those afternoon and evening storms. Your weekend, afternoon scattered in the evening showers and thunderstorms. It will be a little bit cooler over the weekend with highs near 90.
Grant, thank you. Whether you're a homemaker, store owner, or just working for the weekend, money matters. So we are minding your business this morning. With the rising cost of flood insurance across the area, some people are getting creative when it comes to fixes. On Monday, we told you about this Shore Acres homeowner who is using a FEMA grant to raise his house 14 feet. And he is not the only one doing this. Philip Betts did the same thing to his home. He's lived in Brentwood Estates for 27 years. 10 years ago, he lost everything in a flood. More than 13 inches of water flooded his home for 10 days. He decided to make sure that that never happens again. Vets applied for a grant to lift his home 8 feet and 1 inch higher. He says FEMA paid for half, the county paid 25%, and he paid for the rest up front. Vets says it was worth every penny.
So really, you know, the hurricane, the water, now it's a lot different because we don't have to have that constant stress of should we pick our stuff up? Should we make arrangements to leave? Because it's not just about the water getting in the house, it's also about coming in and out of here.
So he says the process took about 3 months, but he's never had to worry about flooding since then. If you're curious about applying for a FEMA grant to elevate your home, listen to this. You must be a homeowner living in a special flood hazard area. You must have an NFIP policy and have had substantial damage to your home. There are several options to choose from once you are approved, but remember, for most of these programs, FEMA will only pay part of that cost. You will likely have to pay thousands of dollars out of pocket. Your coffee might give you a jolt, but why not give that jolt some pizzazz? You've almost made it to the weekend, and if you're wondering where to go for a post-meal treat, it's time to introduce you to one of downtown St. Pete's best-kept secrets, a dessert bar with a boozy twist that will have you feeling all the Willy Wonka feels. 10 News foodie Candice Avilés shares the goods.
Where can you find this Lucky Charms alcoholic milkshake? Or this, you can even eat the dishes, chocolate treat? Only at St. Pete's first craft coffee and dessert lounge, Beans and Barler.
Hi, my name is Story Stewart and welcome to Beans and Barler.
Story is the genius behind the one-of-a-kind menu, offering your favorite desserts made with the highest quality ingredients with boozy twists, like this raspberry Moscow Mule float.
This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Holy moly. It's so light.
Story craved a spot you could go to after dinner for a dessert that wasn't a bar, but offered delicious boozy treats. One of them, this baby.
It is a dark chocolate teacup on a dark chocolate plate with a dark chocolate spoon, so you can literally eat everything on the plate.
I'm not gonna lie, every dessert I tried was excellent, unique in its own way. But probably the coolest looking one was the boozy cereal milkshake.
It has been a while since I've had a milkshake like that.
Keep in mind, they also offer non-alcoholic treats. But if you go boozy, know this.
Everything has at least a double shot. We want to really pack a punch in all of our scoops.
Can you tell I'm just getting happier and happier as I keep trying all the tricks?
We'll make sure you get home safe.
I know.
You know the kind of desserts that make you feel all good inside and nostalgic? These are those desserts.
We want people to think of this as a special place and a place where you think to end your special date night.
And if you're curious about the price range, you can expect to spend between $5 and $15 depending on what you order. It all looks pretty good though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Why not?
Yum.
Happy Thursday, Throwback Thursday, whatever you want to call it. If it's screaming, or just eating up Hollywood, Brightside is all over it. Here's the buzz. It's early, y'all, sorry. Kim Kardashian West is being accused again for cultural appropriation, this time by the Japanese. Yeah, the reality star announced a new line of shapewear called Kimono Solution Wear. The line comes in a range of sizes and colors, but some Japanese critics says the name is an inappropriate take on a centuries-old kimono clothing. So Kardashian West already has trademarked the name. And the Dixie Chicks are re-emerging on the country music scene after a 13-year break. Lead singer Natalie Maines hinted at a new album on Instagram. The group's last album, Taking the Long Way, won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 2006, that is. And Ava LaRue is the newest reoccurring cast member on The Young and the Restless. LaRue, who's no stranger to soap operas, joins the saga as the mother of Lola and Ray Rosales.
The role is really fun. She's a likable character, but a force. Her own little manipulative force.
Viewers may remember LaRue from All My Children and CSI Miami.
Okay. I wonder if the viewers will take to her.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, because they get really involved
Yeah.
in characters. When you bring somebody new in,
Especially for a soap opera.
yeah,
Yeah.
you better make sure that it's who the people are going
Of
to
course,
like.
yeah, you want that character to fit and jive with the viewers as well.
Yeah. Or they will
With
kill.
the name LaRue, though, she should.
Yeah. Or
That's
they'll
such
kill
a
her
cool
off
name.
if they don't like her,
Yeah.
right? Thanks for watching 10 News. Bright Side at 5 is next.